the algorithm. Of course, complicated math thing. So really, what is an algorithm? I mean, really, at its base, it's a very simple thing. It's just a set of instructions that informs the machine or the human of what to do with a certain input, right? When I was a sophomore year engineering student, I mean, one of the first algorithms I had to write was an algorithm to play tic-tac-toe. And basically, it has to play perfect tic-tac-toe if you want to get an A. You know, it will never lose, and if you're a bad tic-tac-toe player, it will beat you. Now, this is a rather simple problem for someone who's been writing code for a while, but you know, for a sophomore year student who had written 3 lines of C, it was a little challenging. So, but of course, algorithms now are far more complex. They can be billions or millions of nodes. They could take a piece of, and of course, with the tic-tac-toe algorithm, the input was the human move, the output was the algorithm's move. You know, now your algorithm could take a piece of input, match it to a data set, to pull a piece of data out of there, stuff that into an equation, stuff it into another equation. I mean, it could just go on and on and on until you get what we have on Wall Street, of course, which is these layers and layers and layers and layers of algorithms, to the point where it's very hard for humans to understand exactly what's going on. I mean, it's very hard to sit and look at a screen and say, oh, here's what's happening with the market, because you don't know. And there are times when the algorithms don't know, and they get confused. And that's what happened, of course, on May 6, 2010. Everybody knows the flash crash. We lost $1 trillion worth of value in our stock market in about 5 minutes. And nobody to this day can really explain what that was. I mean, you know, there's some guy in Kansas City, some guy in Chicago, some guy in New York, who knows. Now, again, this happened on August 1st of this year when Knight Capital, which most people outside of Wall Street had never heard of, but Knight Capital is one of the most practiced hands at employing algorithms in our markets. And they lost $440 million in 45 minutes when an algorithm ran out of control and they didn't know how to turn it off. So it's it gets very esoteric very quickly when you layer all these things. And they've completely taken over our stock market, of course. They make 70% of all the trades on the stock market. But again, this isn't just about the stock market. Algorithms are taking over everything. Everything. And that sounds ridiculous, but we are at a colossal fork in the arc of humanity. And the question isn't whether algorithms will take over everything. It's when we'll realize how much they've already taken over. And as people in the advertising and marketing industry, let me say that, and you probably already know this, it's tough to come in and tell people